I always see videos online talking about top 3 side hustles you need if you're a teenager, top 3 side hustles, the best side hustles. I tried these side hustles and which ones are the best, blah, 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 blah. And in my opinion, all those videos are wrong. I do like side hustles. I think side hustles are great, especially if you're new into the business world. It's a good way to get like started in business, to get exposed to business, to start building up the disciplines to be in business and be self-employed. But side hustles are holding you back, and if you're chasing side hustles and you're chasing the next best side hustle, you're doing yourself a disservice. The way you need to be treating side hustles is kind of like a demo before you start going all in on the business. So instead of trying to get 10 side hustles and saying, okay, I make $500 from each of these 10 side hustles, and then your time is divided between each of the 10 side hustles. So you put 2 hours in this, 2 hours in this, 2 hours in this, 2 hours in this, and then you're exhausted. That's also not taking into consideration the mental time to switch between this task and this task, which is an uncalculated and unmeasurable, kind of measurement there, because your mind is in one atmosphere and then you have to switch it to another, especially if it's like, let's say one side hustle you're doing is real estate wholesaling, and then now you're doing stocks. Although it is business and making money and investing, it's completely different atmospheres. It's completely different, ways of doing deals, where wholesaling, maybe you're cold calling, you're talking to sellers. Stocks, you're, looking at charts and you're doing this other stuff. And then maybe your other one is flipping shoes. Completely different, right? Because that one you're looking on like Discords and trying to find good shoes, and maybe you're doing an e-store, your Amazon dropshipping store. Like, it's all completely different. If you're trying to switch from each one, you're wasting a lot of like mental time and mental clarity switching between tasks. So to give you an example, in 2019 I graduated college and I was working a W-2. I was working a normal job out of college. I worked that normal job, most of 2019, and then I started that same job in 2020. I was with a major league sports team at the time, which is coincidence because I wear Dolphins stuff. Also, I don't know if, how many people watch a lot of my videos, but I feel like every other video I'm wearing a Dolphins thing, which is like, kind of need to like redo my outfits, like my recording outfits, because they're always dolphin stuff. But in 2020 I was working that job, COVID happened, I was unemployed, and I made one really good decision that completely changed my life when it came to side hustles. So during COVID, I was looking at side hustles, and I think everybody was, no matter how old you were, if you were 40 years old, if you were 12 years old, you were looking at side hustles, you were looking at ways to make money. And I started a t-shirt store where I was doing like the print on demand t-shirts. I started trying to do stocks. Everybody was doing crypto back then. I was trying to do that. And I ended up just going all in on wholesaling real estate, and it really changed my life for the better. Like, I made a lot of money wholesaling. I built a business wholesaling. This YouTube channel was built on like the groundworks of teaching wholesaling, So like wholesaling changed my life, and I went all in. Like, I'm talking about not doing stocks, like not doing crypto. I missed that whole 2020, 2021, 2022 kind of crypto wave. And I have friends that like are now in real estate, that buy real estate, flip real estate, that made millions of dollars doing crypto. And I kind of look back, I'm like, man, like I should have done that. When I started in real estate, crypto cost like $8,000 or $10,000, a Bitcoin or whatever. And now it went up to like 65, and it's like, man, people were 6 timing whatever, however much money, whatever, I'm talking about. But I look back, I'm like, man, like I kind of wish I did that, but I'm glad I did the path I did. And I'm telling this story because, in my opinion, you should definitely experiment. I realized I didn't like the on-demand t-shirt thing. I wasn't as creative. I like talking to people on the phone, and I wasn't like creative in the mind space of like designing t-shirts and trying to advertise them online. I like just calling sellers, taking action. I made a really good choice where I went all in on this one business, and I have friends that also started business in 2020, and now they're still working a job, and they did stocks, they did crypto, they did all of this, and nothing really took like major traction. Nothing really went off, where I went off on one thing because I was working 40, 50, 60 hours a week on it, especially when I was unemployed living with my mom. I was just working, and that's how you need to be, especially if you're a teenager. I have little sisters that are teenagers. Maybe they'll watch this video, I'm not sure, but man, like at that age, like you need to just be going all in. I go to a lot of real estate meetups. If you're in South Florida, you'll probably see me at a real estate meetup at some point. And because I go to a lot of meetups, I see like 19, 20, 21-year-old kids at some of these meetups, and it's like crazy because I started young. I started business when I was 24 years old and 27 now. But bro, can you imagine if you started when you were 17, 18 years old? That's 6 more years of experience that you would have had before I got started. That's, you know, let's say 10 and 8 years more experience than I would have now, comparing yourself from there to there. My suggestion with side businesses and side hustles is start side hustles. I think they're great. I think they're great exposure. They're great trial runs to starting business. Pick one and go all in on it. Don't try to do too many things where you're dividing your time. And also, when you're picking a side hustle, pick one with a high ceiling. So what that means is the ceiling and the floor of making money, where you can have a side hustle or a gig that has a high floor but doesn't have a huge ceiling. So that means you're making, you know, this amount, you know, if you just start, but you're not making that much more at your peak because it's only this amount of space. But if you have one that has a low floor, such as, you know, sales, anything sales, where you have to work for it, but the more sales you get, the more, you know, compounds and everything. The low floor but high endless ceiling, that's what you really want to focus on. Like the shoe flipping and all that is great, but it's like, how scalable is that? Unless you have like a team that does it, it's like, how scalable is it? I don't know. Maybe it's super scalable. I could be completely wrong with that example. I hope I am. You know, I know there's people killing in every single atmosphere. So just pick one that you can really scale. You can build into a multi-million-dollar business. Part of the reason I like wholesaling is because it is that, you know, but it takes a lot of people to get it to that point. So I'm building a content agency as well. It's a little bit more scalable in my opinion and everything like that. So that's kind of like my main business is wholesaling. The content agency is my second business that's kind of turning into my main business. But real estate will always be like my passion. Like I love real estate. And my last piece of advice when it comes to like side businesses and side hustles is don't listen to everything you see online. I know so many people that post wholesaling content, real estate content. I do content, like I have the content agency I just mentioned. I help these people do content sometimes. And like a lot of people that I know that, you know, not that I work with, but a lot of people I know in just the business space, I know from meetups and stuff that go to meetups a lot, they don't do deals and they're always chasing the next thing. And even in real estate, there's so many different ways you could chase when it comes to like different marketing channels for wholesaling, like cold calling, texting, PPC, Facebook. Like there's so many different things. So it's like pick one, you know, avenue and just stick to that. Don't chase too many different things. And just because somebody's posting online, which was my original point, but just because somebody's posting online about it doesn't mean they're doing well. So don't listen to everything you see online. If you see some advice, you know, hey, you need to start doing this is working for me. Maybe it worked for them on one deal. Maybe it worked for them for like 1 month, but then the next month they're struggling. I've seen that tons of times. I hope that makes sense. I hope this wasn't a ramble. If this provided value, let me know in the comments. Let me know, you know, what your opinion is on side hustles. This is kind of like my honest opinion. I think a lot of people are wrong and how they kind of market side hustles. And yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.